I just love these boulevards down here, though.
Yeah.
You don't get this in most of L.A.
How come whenever
They're
I'm
all
out here,
gone.
though, I turn on the 11 o'clock news and, I hear, tonight in South Central,
Right.
drive-by shooting, or tonight in South Central,
Yeah.
this, that, or whatever.
Right.
They're not making that up, are they?
No, they're not making it up, but they're choosing what they're covering. If you turn on TV, on the news,
Yeah.
what are you going to hear about? Dangerous black guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unnamed black guy who, accused of some crime, or
Right.
you're going to see pictures of black guys doing bad things and hearing stories about black guys doing bad things. And we've heard this our whole lives.
Now, the suspect is a black male in his 20s. We are told he has a large afro, sideburns. He was wearing a silver chain at the time.
Police say the suspect is a black man, 6'1", 160 to 180 pounds, about 35 years in age.
Suspect is a black male, aged 16 to 18.
The suspect is African-American. Police
say the
black man. Suspect.
Suspect.
Suspect is a black male.
black man.
Black man. Black male.
Male.
Man. Black man.
Susan Smith drowns her 2 children. She tells people a black guy
Right.
stole the car and stole the kids.
Right.
And everyone at first bought it.
Some guy jumped into a red light with her car with her 2 kids in it, and he took off. That's a black guy, she said.
Black male.
Yes, ma'am.
And I told him I loved him. I hollered I loved him.
And it's just a tragedy.
The anonymous, urban, which means usually black, male, comes by and does this is the excuse for all kinds of things.
Charles Stewart, the lawyer in Boston,
Right, exactly.
kills his pregnant wife, says a black guy did it.
Right.
Everybody buys it.
The suspect, described as a black male about 6 feet tall. Chuck and Carol Stewart were robbed at gunpoint as they left a Lamaze class. It seemed the ultimate urban nightmare.
The thing I love about this country of mine is that whether you're a psychotic killer or running for president of the United States, the one thing you can always count on is white America's fear of the black man.
We've heard the stories on the news and in the papers, and they have killed people. Killer bees, also known as Africanized bees.
I'm scared. I'm really worried with them.
Rosemary Shibley never expected a nest of Africanized killer bees to shack up across the street from her.
But I'm terribly allergic to them, and so are my grandkids.
They're originally from southern and eastern Africa. Dr. Warwick Kerr brought some to Brazil in 1956 and tried to mate them with the European bee, the kind that we're used to. But they got loose, took over, and moved all the way to the southern United States. The main difference between a traditional honeybee and an Africanized bee is the bee's aggressiveness. If I was to do this to an Africanized bee's hive, I could have several hundred stings in a matter of minutes. Danny Self raises the kinder, gentler European bees, and he's done the research.
The only way that you can tell the 2 of them is doing measurements on the body parts.
Quite frankly, the black community has become entertainment for the rest of the community.
Meaning what?
The entertainment being that the crime of the day, if it bleeds, it leads, gets to be the front story, and then that becomes the perception and the image of an entire people, which couldn't be further from the truth, in my opinion. In fact, you'll find, I think most African Americans are quite adverse to gun possession. In suburbia, I think there's some notion that there's going to be an invading horde come from either the city or from someplace unknown to savage their suburban community. To me, it not only is it bizarre, but it's totally unfounded. And these pistols, curiously enough, weren't being taken off of kids in the city of Flint, but were being taken off of kids out in the out county area in the suburban communities.
I didn't think that's what you were going to say. I thought you were going to say that it's all these black kids in the inner city schools that had these guns.
No, we've never really had many problems with the guns in the city. I mean, and not to say that we haven't, but we've had some. But that's never been the biggest problem. The biggest problem has been the gun possession by these adolescents in suburbia.
How'd you get a gun?
I stole mine.
Where'd you steal it from?
I stole it from a friend of mine.
Where'd he get it?
His dad owns a bunch of guns.
What were you doing with the stolen guns?
We went down to Detroit to try to sell them because I can get like $1.50 a pop for a 9mm.
Really? Yeah. Who are you trying to sell them to?
Anybody that would really want them. Mostly gangs and stuff like that.
Yeah, gangs in the city of Detroit?
Yeah.
Black?
Predominantly.
Yeah. So you're out now, you're okay?
Yeah, I'm free now. I'm completely clear.
You can keep selling guns?
Well, I can't really keep selling guns. It's getting too risky, man. Everybody knows me up here. You know, people want guns or drugs or alcohol, they come to my house, and that's just too much.
Yeah, too much hassle.
Yeah.
My favorite statistic in all the research I did discovered that the murder rate had gone down by 20%. The coverage, that is how many murders are on the evening news, it went up by 600%.
The American people are conditioned by network TV, by local news, to believe that their communities are much more dangerous than they actually are. For example, here in this community, crime has decreased every year for the past 8 years, yet gun ownership, particularly handgun ownership, is on the increase.
Crime rates have been dropping. Fear of crime has been going up, up, up. How can that be possible? It doesn't make any sense. But it makes perfect sense when you see what we're hearing from politicians and seeing in the news media.
So we're right here on the corner of Florence and Normandy. This was kind of ground zero for the LA riots.
Right. You know, if a couple of white guys go down and walk around South Central, they're going to get killed, which I can tell you is a common perception. The odds that something's going to happen to us are really, really slight, minuscule.
Right. Okay.
But, you know, if you look up there, you get a different symbol of the Hollywood sign. It means something very different than the corner of Florence and Normandy for most Americans and most of the world. You know, it means glamour and Hollywood, except that we can't see it.
I can't see the Hollywood sign.
Right.
Where is it?
Right. You can't see it because of something that's probably much more dangerous for us right now, which is the stuff we're breathing.
The pollution that's blocking the Hollywood sign. We're breathing this.
That's far more dangerous than all the other stuff the media is telling us to be afraid of.
Right.
As we left the corner of Florence and Normandy, I noticed that a number of helicopters had appeared in the sky. Within seconds, the news media started to arrive.
So what's the story here?
I'm waiting. I thought you would know.
No, I don't know anything.
Sergeant just told me it was a cop with a guy with a gun, but they're not sure. That's all they told me.
Right.
So no action, like getting the camera down.
I just happened to see the chopper. I'm going to another story.
What story are you going to?
It's a near drowning.
It's a drowning?
Near drowning.
A near drowning. How about the story about how you can't see the Hollywood Hills because of the pollution? Could you maybe do a story on that tonight?
Pollution, you found it good.
Huh?
I found it good. You can see it. You can't see anything around here.
If you have to choose between a guy with a gun and a near drowning of a baby, you can only be one place at one time. Which way the gun? You go with the gun always. Go with the gun. Is it all over here? All over? All over?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet?
Just wait for these sergeants down here.
Yeah.
To come down because they got all the details.
Okay. Hey, I'm just wondering, I just got here to LA today. I can't see the Hollywood sign down in the hills there, down Normandy. I can't see the sign because of the pollution.
Right.
Is there anybody you can go and like arrest for like polluting up the air?
Absolutely not.
Nobody?
No.
Why is that? Why is that, Sergeant?
For over a decade, there has been one show on American television that has consistently brought black and white people together in an effort to reduce our fears and celebrate our diversity. That show is Cops. I went to see a former producer of Cops and executive producer of World's Wildest Police Videos, Mr. Dick Herlin.
You look liberal up in the dictionary, and I think my picture's in there somewhere. But, yeah.
So then, you know, why not be compelled to do, you know, a show that focuses on, you know, what's causing the crime as opposed to just chasing the criminals down?
Because I think it's harder to do that show. I don't know what that show would be. Anger does well, hate does well, violence does well. Tolerance and understanding and trying to learn to be a little different than you were last year does less well.
Does less well in the ratings.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe because we, in the television business, because we tend to demonize black and Hispanic people, then those watching it at home are going, I don't want to help those people. I'm not going to do anything to help them because I hate them now because they may hurt me. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. I'm not sure that's what we're doing. I'm not sure we're demonizing black and Hispanic people particularly. I don't think we show black and Hispanic people as being criminals. I'd like to say not more often, but probably they are more often. But I certainly don't think we're certainly not trying to demonize black and Hispanic people.
We show them on the news, we show them on TV as pretty scary people.
Yeah. And I agree. I think I'd like to see that reversed as much as possible.
Start tonight.
Well, the thing is, I don't know how to start tonight. I don't know how to tell that story.
Well,
if I was smart enough to do that.
I'll pitch you one.
Okay.
I'll pitch you one, okay?
All right.
Do a show called, not Cops, but Corporate Cops.
Corporation man, hey, corporate man, we're coming out to get you, better run while you can. We're coming out to get you, better run while you can.
I love the idea. I don't think it would make very interesting reality TV. Unless we can get those people to get in their SUVs and drive really fast down the road away from the police.
But I'm telling you, everyone in America who's got just your basic everyday, job is going to love watching the boss being chased down the street with his shirt off, thrown to the ground and a knee to the neck. I'm telling you, that is going to get ratings.
I'm with you. And if I can find a police outfit that would prosecute corporate criminals appropriately and would go after them appropriately. In other words, what you do to a man who's just stolen a lady's purse with $85 to it, then you need to do an appropriate response to a man who's just stolen $85 million from indigent people. Then, boy, we're going to be out there filming that. But as a matter of fact, when police go after the guy who's just stolen $85 million, they treat him like he was a member of the city council, as he may or may not be, and it's not exciting television. If you could get that guy to take his shirt off,
right.
Yeah, and throw his cellular phone at the police as they come through the door. Try to jump out that window, then we'd have a show. You watch violence on TV in a place like Canada, and you know it's not happening next door. You watch it here, and you know it is happening next door.
Right.
I think that's... I don't know what the difference is, but there's a big difference.
Yeah, why isn't it though? Why isn't it happening in Canada? Why aren't there, 10,000 murders a year?
I don't know, but I want to go to Canada to retire or something, because it sounds like where we want to be. I'd like to find out what that difference is, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to find out. Where are you supposed to be right now?
School. Aren't you worried about what you're not learning? I'm mostly helping everybody else in the class. Then I barely get to do my work, period. How about you? You're not worried about your education?
Well, I've got the textbook.
Why do you think we have so many gun murders in America?
I have no idea. People must hate each other out there or something.
Oh, you mean Canadians don't hate each other?
Well, we do, but we don't go to the point of shooting somebody just to get revenge.
What do you do?
I don't know. Tease them, maybe. Make fun of them, ridicule them.
Throw eggs at them.
Eggs.
How many gun murders in Sarnia this year?
None.
Last year?
I believe we had one at the time.
Year before that?
I can't recall what we had in the way of...
Maybe one in the last 3 years?
Probably, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very low for the city.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, there's no murders here because there's only 70,000 people, and it's the kissing capital of the world. So I went down the river to another Canadian city that was 5 times as large as Sarnia, Windsor, Ontario, just across the river from Detroit. I was sure there'd be more murders in Windsor.
Ever hear of anyone being shot by a gun in Windsor? No. You remember any murders here?
There was one long time ago, probably.
How long ago? In your lifetime?
In my lifetime, probably about 15, 20 years ago, there was one murder.
In fact, this Windsor policeman told me that the only gun murder he could recall in Windsor in the last 3 years was committed by a guy from Detroit who had a stolen gun from Minnesota. With nearly 400,000 people in the Windsor area, there were simply no Canadians shooting other Canadians. I thought it might be time for some fun facts about Canada. I hit the streets of New York to find out what the average American thought about our friendly neighbor to the north.
Canadians don't watch as much violent movies as Americans do.
That's wrong. Hordes of young boys all throughout Canada eagerly await the next Hollywood bloodbath.
The guy gets his leg taken off.
Oh, wow.
And there was a lot of girls there. Yeah, and naked.
Yeah?
Naked at one point. I like that stuff.
Well, what movie did you guys see tonight?
Sixth Day.
Sixth Day with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
Did it make you want to come out here and play this shoot-'em-up game?
Well, yeah.
There's no poverty in Canada like there is here in the States.
Wrong again.
Actually, we've also had a much higher unemployment rate. When Michigan was running at 4%, we were still running at 8 or 9%. We almost have an institutional unemployment rate.
I think there'd mostly be white people in Canada.
That's strange. Because when I'm in Canada, I see black people everywhere. And yellow people and brown people, and 13% of the country is non-white. So the Canadians are pretty much just like us. And the reason that they have so few murders has to be because they've got so few guns.
What kind of guns do you own?
I hunt. I own rifles and shotguns. I own pistols.
So how many guns total?
Probably about 7.
7 guns? Yeah.
You have a gun?
I have a few guns.
Really? How many guns do you have?
Half a dozen.
You could name how many people right now that own guns that you know? 2, 3, a dozen?
More than that.
Well, there's a tremendous amount of gun ownership, being the nature of the country that we are. We're a large country geographically. We grew up with hunting and fishing being a tradition.
In Canada, with a population of just around about 30 million, there's about 10 million families, and the best estimate is somewhere in the region of 7 million guns.
Wow. Canada was one gun-loving, gun-toting, gun-crazy country.
Where can I get a gun?
I can buy a gun uptown anytime I want it.
I see you're a Glock owner. Where can I get a Glock in Canada?
Most gun stores will sell them to you if you have the proper permits and stuff.
In fact, despite all their tough gun laws, take a look at what I, a foreign citizen, was able to do at the local Canadian Walmart.
All right, where's the ammunition at?
Where's the ammunition?
Yeah.
Back here. What kind are you looking for?
You know, like bullets.
That's right. I could buy as much live ammunition as I wanted to in Canada.
You take American? Do you lock your doors?
No.
Are you afraid of anything?
Not only, no. Do you lock your doors at night?
Nope.
You don't lock your doors? Well, are you afraid of anything?
Not really.
Have you ever been broken into?
Yes, I have.
What happened?
They broke into my home. I wasn't there. They broke in, they stole some booze, some cigarettes, and they left. So I figured it must have been some teenagers out to have a little bit of fun, and that's all they took though. Just some booze and some cigarettes. Have you ever been a victim of crime?
Yes.
What kind of crime?
I've had people walk in while I've been sleeping and vandalize my home and steal from me.
And that didn't want to make you lock your doors at night?
Nope. Nope.
As an American with 3 locks on his doors, I found this all a bit confusing. Even here in Toronto, a city of millions, people just didn't lock their doors.
So you don't lock your doors, but we Americans do. Why is that?
You must be afraid of your neighbor. You ever leave your doors unlocked at home? Yeah, you do?
Sure.
Where do you live?
Right around here.
Toronto?
Right around here. Around here.
You leave your doors unlocked?
Yeah.
You think, as Americans, that the lock is keeping people out of your place. We as Canadians see it more as when we lock the door, we're imprisoning ourselves inside.
You don't want to do that?
Not really, no. We don't want to, no.
I decided to go unannounced to a neighborhood in Toronto to see if this unlocked door thing was true.
Oh, hi. Sorry, just checking. Oh, hello. Oh, hi. Nobody locks their doors. Nobody locks their doors in this town.
You want to lock?
Yeah? No. No. Do you like living here?
I like it very much.
Yeah, and the T-shirt?
The T-shirt too.
This door was wide open. And you're not afraid?
Yeah. Should I be afraid?
Well, I don't know. You
No,
live
I
here.
don't think I'm afraid.
You're not, are you?
No.
Thank you very much.
All right, no problem.
I'm sorry about the intrusion.
No problem.
And thank you for not shooting me.
No problem.
Okay.
No.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
As an American, I gotta say, this all seemed kind of strange until I looked up at the TV in the bar and noticed what they watch for their evening news.
They're friends of ours. We'll certainly listen to them courteously and carefully, but you don't just make war just because someone says so.
Night after night, the Canadians weren't being pumped full of fear. And their politicians seemed to talk kind of funny.
That is making sure they have proper daycare. that they have assistance for their parents when they're elderly and need to be in an old age home, that they have proper health care that ensures that they won't lose their business or their house because they can't afford their medical bills. That's how you build a good society. No one wins unless everyone wins, and you don't win by beating up on people who can't defend themselves. And that's been the approach, unfortunately, that's been spreading with some of the right-wing governments across North America, that they pick on the people that can't defend themselves, and at the same time they're turning around and giving financial support and tax breaks and tax benefits to people that don't need them.
Where are the indigent in the city? Where do they live?
Indigent?
You act like you've never heard the word before.
We don't have that problem here, really. It's...
So I asked him, well, could you at least take me to a Canadian slum? And, well, this is what a ghetto looks like in Canada.
Is this the same sort of mentality that says, with Canadians, you think if somebody gets sick, they should actually be able to have health care?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Why?
Because
it's human rights. Everyone's got the right to live.
Did you just come out of the emergency room?
Yes, I did.
And how much did you have to pay for your treatment?
I wouldn't know what the bill is. It's covered by our hospital plan.
So you're telling me you didn't have to pay anything?
No, I don't.
I have family that lives in the States. They used to live in Canada and moved over there. And it's so different.
They get afraid more easily.
Oh, yeah. Yep, very much so. Because everybody reacts over there just like that. They don't stop and think. First reaction is pull the gun out. You're on my property. You know, like, I don't know. It's just different over here.
Where do you live?
Detroit.
Detroit?
Yeah.
Come over to Canada here for the night?
Right.
Uh-huh.
People a little bit more open-minded over here, a little bit more welcoming. Yeah.
You feel any difference when you cross over to this country? Be honest now, come on.
It's a lot lighter. This segregation over there is definitely much more
in the United States.
Intensified in the States, yeah. So you can feel it.
Almost like they just let you be.
That's Canada for you.
Every time I turn on the TV in the States, it's always about a murder here, a gunfight, hostile position.
I just think the States, their view of things is fighting. That's how they resolve everything. If there's something going on in another country, that, you know, they send people over to fight it. And Canada's more just like, let's negotiate, let's work something out, where the States is, well, we'll just kill you and that'll be the end of that.
If more guns made people safer, then America would be one of the safest countries in the world. It isn't. It's the opposite.
I heard that 911 call, you know, on TV someplace. It was horrible. It was just...
Because she kept asking, where's the shooter? She said, he's gone. I need some help.
And the little girl was in there, too?
She was on
Kayla.
the floor, yes.
She was on the floor. And the police and the medics came, or...
By the time the medics were here, medics had just come in, and I remember him stepping in and taking over the room. He says, you have to leave.
Right.
And then when medics come in, when the police come in, you're no longer in control.
Was she still alive then, or probably not?
Her lips had begun to turn blue.
Back in my hometown of Flint, Michigan, a 6-year-old first-grade boy at Buell Elementary had found a gun at his uncle's house, where he was staying because his mother was being evicted. He brought the gun to school and shot another first grader, 6-year-old Kayla Rowland. With one bullet that passed through her body, she fell to the floor and laid there dying, while her teacher called 911 for help. No one knew why the little boy wanted to shoot the little girl. As if the city had not been through enough horror and tragedy in the past 2 decades, it was now home to a new record, the youngest school shooting ever in the United States. On the morning of the shooting, it only took the news helicopters and satellite trucks a half hour to show up on the scene.
Hey, check in the truck. You know we're doing one in 30 minutes again?
This evening about 7 o'clock will be a public memorial service. We are expecting
hundreds of people. They will mourn the loss of little Kayla, a tiny little girl who loved pizza, teddy bears, and who was taken away from us much too soon. Gina?
Good morning, Christine. The funeral home now passing out thousands, tens of thousands of these pink ribbons to support the young girl's family. Today will be an emotional day and has been already, remembering little Kayla. Jeff Rossen, Fox 2 News. Nice job. Yeah, Michelle, we're having technical problems, okay? Well, don't talk to me about it. Call our SAT truck. Get a haircut, man. I'm a pig. Rug. Here we go. Some too choked up even to speak about it. There's a memorial service scheduled here for 7 o'clock tonight. We're live in Flint, Michigan this afternoon. Jeff Rossen, Q13 reports. Thank you.
Thank you.
I kind of need it, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
I got number 10.
I have some. I just didn't put it in. I didn't have a chance.
I have hurricane proof.
Hurricane. This man prayed for Caleb, then let the balloon go. I said we have the color picture, not the black and white card. There's plenty of media here that covered Columbine. You know, there are some networks, especially, that go from, unfortunately, tragedy to tragedy. And I feel bad for them, because that's all they see. The tragedies. Yeah, we're just trying to crunch right now for the 5 and the 6. Today we're feeding CNN and Fox, so.
The national media had never visited Buell Elementary, or the Beecher School District in which it sat, or this part of Flint ever before. And few, if any, of these reporters bothered to visit it, even when they were here now. If they had ventured just a block away from the school or the funeral home, they might have seen a different kind of tragedy that perhaps would contain some answers as to why this little girl was dead. For over 20 years, this impoverished area in the hometown of the world's largest corporation had been ignored as completely as it had been destroyed. With 87% of the students living below the official poverty line, Buell and Beecher and Flint did not fit into the accepted and widely circulated storyline put forth by the nation's media. That being the one about America and its invincible economy.